welcome back to Maxwell Starr's Beer Review. Tonight we're going to take a look at something of a super special winter beer from Think Brewing in Harvey, New Brunswick. Relatively new brewery. Think Brewing is, I think, about 20 minutes outside of Fredericton, and they made this new Ale for a Winter's Night, which is a bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout weighing in at a whopping 10% ABV. It stokes me so much to see a New Brunswick brewery actually making something as adventurous as this. So, and also one thing that's really cool is that 1% of all proceeds to Think Brewing goes to food programs. So they actually contribute back into the system, which is awful nice to see. This is great to see. I don't think I've ever seen a... Well, I mean, I have seen a bourbon barrel-aged or barrel-aged stout, Imperial Stout come from a New Brunswick brewery, but I've never seen one come out in a simple bottle like this for like $10 a bottle. I'm like, yeah, this is like precious if this is any good. So let's crack the top off of this one and see how Think Brewing's Ale for a Winter's Night stacks up to other bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stouts that I'm familiar with. Usually the stuff I get from Ontario, to be honest. But I'm excited. I've been on a kick lately in the cold winter months of wanting some Imperial Stouts and bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stouts, and just seeing this on the shelf, stoked. All right. Let's get on to the orgasm. All right, so giving that in a pour to my Trailway snifter. Nice down ahead on top of that, the big chocolate mocha kind of look. Color blots at the sun. There's a little bit of a brown tinge around the bottom edge of that beer, but for the most part, that beer is black as night, and it's got a nice looking head. At 10% ABV, I'm surprised it's got that much head retention, especially something bourbon barrel aged. So it's, you know, it looks nice. Looks the part. All right, let's give it a whiff. So off the top of it, I get this kind of subtle fruity cordial, kind of bit of alcohol, bits of chocolate. I'm not really getting a lot of the wood or the bourbon. There's maybe like a hint of butterscotch or something in the aroma. Yeah, now as the head's dying off here, it's starting to become more and more prominent, the aromas. And this might be something where I'm gonna have to let that rocky head die off first in order to get a bit more in the nose to get a real opinion about how this thing smells. But I know right away that as far as like bourbon barrel aged stouts, usually the aroma's a bit more chocolatey and pungent in comparison. Like I tend to get more in the nose than I do out of this. But this is still really nice, and as more dies off, I'm starting to get more of the vanilla, the bourbon notes, the caramel, and that nice, almost like milk chocolate kind of smell. It's nice. Yeah, I'm getting more and more of it now. Little hints of espresso coffee. And definitely that bourbon is coming out now. Ooh. See, that's nice. And as you notice, the head's died off. And as it's died off more and more, I'm getting more and more of the aroma. And it's kind of like the anticipation's building now. So I'm kind of like going back on what I'm saying already and just saying, okay, that smells nice. Oh yeah. So it took a while to get started, but let's get down, put this thing down the hatch and see how it stacks up. Oh yeah, that's nice. Espresso, chocolate, subtly fruity, like a little hint of booze, but it's not like super alcoholic. It's just this nice, like cherry cordial. Not so much cherry cordial, it's more like raspberry cordial, I think. Because the fruitiness kind of tends to be a bit more on the it's almost like raspberry. And it's got this big, rich, roasty espresso, dark chocolate backbone in the palate, with a subtle hint of like this weird copper coin, which makes you think like it's weird because it's almost got this finish in the back of the throat that reminds you of drinking a skunked lager, which sounds fucked up to say, I know, but it makes me think it's that copper coin. You know, whatever hops they used has got this nice like herbal copper coin kind of note, but it's coming off as a little touch of skunky because I doubt it's actually skunked. It's just got that weird quality, but it doesn't really put me off. It's just interesting, and I would say it's probably because I'm drinking this pretty young, and I don't know what barrels they used and how long they aged in the barrels, but there's a good chance that it could be just because those hops are still quite fresh. But I am getting the nice caramel and vanilla notes out of the bourbon barrels. They're not super strong, so I don't think this was aged very long in the barrel. But at the same time, this is a wonderful tasting Imperial Stout. I'm really enjoying this, and I don't think this will be my last bottle of this. I'm going to have to go back and find more of that, because I'm glad to see that. And at $10 a bottle, it's absolutely worth it if you want a good Russian Imperial Stout that's bourbon barrel aged, because that's just an unheard of price in this day and age when beer prices are going sky high for good craft beer. But I love it. I'll give that a 4.25 out of 5. I really do enjoy that beer from Think Brewing, and if you can get your mitts on one of those bottles, I highly recommend it, because it's really almost impossible to find a good Russian Imperial Stout from New Brunswick period. The only other one I really know of is like Hammond River makes Quicksand Jesus. They usually release a whiskey barrel aged version in the spring, or not in spring, early winter, late January or something. Oh, tired. And of course, there's for Imperial Stouts, there's Misku for Moscow Misku from Brasseur de Côte, which you got to review at some point. There's probably one or two I'm forgetting out there, but this is solid. I enjoy seeing this, and this is like, it's nice seeing a brewery making something like this in New Brunswick. Trailway, play your turn. Make an Imperial Stout, bourbon barrel aged. I know you can do it. Anyway, thanks Brewing. You did it. That's good beer. I'm gonna buy more of those. So thanks for watching Maxwell Starr's beer review of Think Brewing's Ale for a Winter's Night. Definitely a good one. So we'll talk to you folks later. Cheers.
Penis!
I'm gonna leave that in.